Dan Hooker comes in and fights Nazareth. Now, I follow Hooker's career closely. I'm a Hooker fan. I also think that Hooker does everything right. I think he's exciting leading up. He's got a hell of a style inside, and he sets up his next fight before he leaves the octagon. I love it. I respect it. He pays attention. He has a strategy. It's great. Okay. So Hooker comes out and fight. Don't forget with Hooker, when he fought Michael Chandler in Abu Dhabi, Dan Hooker had to stay in Abu Dhabi for like 50 days by himself. His corner left. He's there by himself. His wife's back home. He's by himself in a hotel room. He's quarantined. Don't forget that. He can't go wander around. He's not a tourist. He's in a hotel room eating fruit and watching television for 50. I'm making that number up, but I'm close. It might have been more than 50 days. It might have been 48 days, but 50 days. Brutal experience. Doesn't complain once. Has the opposite experience in trying to get out of the country to get to this fight. He doesn't get out, but just in time to land and get his ass to weigh-ins. Slight exaggeration, but if you juxtapose that, and while making 155 pounds, if you juxtapose that against Nate Diaz and Robbie Lawler changing weights when they had a nice, easy trip into Las Vegas, I think that you really respect. Nazareth gets the same credit. Nazareth barely got out of his country. They were both jet-lagged as hell. Neither one of them were performing to their full abilities. Could it have been? You can't do that when you're exhausted. Didn't make an excuse, not once. Looked fantastic, both of them. Then you look at what Nazareth's going through. We find out that he lost his mother, rest her soul. Very sorry, Nazareth. Lost his mother 2 weeks ago. He handles that, makes weight, finishes training, and sees this thing through to the end. I did not cheer for either guy because I could not cheer against either guy. Did you guys feel that too? That was a very hard fight. But it was very enjoyable. You saw these guys going out there and performing. We saw Dan Hooker with more top control than Hooker's had in 5 Dan Hooker fights put together. So now we're starting to see changes in his game, which we're seeing with all the city kickboxing guys. They are getting better. Top guys in the world, top gym in the world right now, remaining curious, staying coachable, and getting better. And that starts at the top. That starts with Eugene Berryman. If Eugene Berryman thinks he's figured out some philosophy for mixed martial arts and you're going to do it this way and no other way, and that's what we do at city kickboxing and we beat people, he doesn't. He clearly is adding new wrinkles to the game and the training of his athletes. So Hooker looks great, but on his way out, he stops Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier was done with him. Hooker said, I'll let you know when this is done. Grabbed the microphone and challenged Beneil Dariush. Now, Beneil Dariush, I apologize. Hooker told Benny, or told somebody in the media after, what he liked about Benny was the number next to Benny's name. Benny's ranked number 3. I don't know what Hooker is, but Hooker's right there. He's 6, he's 7. You got to understand, there's no such thing as top 10. You have 5 through 10, and you have a category 1 through 5. Okay? If you're a top 5 guy, with any given amount of politics and hustle, you are in discussion and eligible to fight for the championship. So if you're number 4, don't think you have to deal with number 2. If you're number 4, be going after the champion right now. You're eligible. But if you're 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you must get in to the top 5. Make sure you understand that that's how sport works. It is not number 1. It's never been number 1. Top 5, you're eligible. Out of the top 5, you need to get into the top 5. Either way, just wanted to explain that. Now, I have to imagine that Beneil Dariush is instantly going to accept that fight. I don't think that he's going to look the other way after being called out, particularly after everything Beneil Dariush has been through. Benny's on like an 8-fight win streak, but he's not going to fight for the belt next. Benny was also done a favor. Now, Benny got to where he is through hard work and incredible skill, but he was given a favor by Tony Ferguson to break into that group of stars. 155 pounds has 10 great fighters, but they have 5 stars. Those stars go and play in the corner by themselves. Won't let anybody else sit at their table. Tony allowed Benny to come over, took Tony's spot. Fair game. Just reminding you that I don't believe Benny is going to brush somebody else off when he's had a whole career of this happening to him. Now, Benny could have his eyes on something else and doesn't want to get detoured and go after Dan. He could. No problem if he does. He does not have to change course just because he was called out, okay? Don't believe in these playground rules. And if Benny doesn't step up and fight him, then Benny's scared. Benny might have something else he was planning to do, got called out of the left field. But there's more to it. Because earlier today, between that call out and me talking to you right now, RDA has pulled out against Islam Makhachev. So now you're in a position, if you're a top guy. If you're a top guy, you are in an interesting position to get matched up as quickly as you can to get off the board of the phone call to replace RDA and have to go fight Islam. And I know you 155-pounders don't want to admit it. You don't want to fight Islam. This is now the game. You could try to go and get whoever you want. But once your phone rings, see, big difference. You can go out in the media. You can go out on the social media. You can manipulate. You can maneuver. But it's not just to get a fight. It's to influence the person who's going to call you and offer you the fight. That's who your audience is. That guy on the other end of the phone. And now that you got a jackhammer who just got his dance card opened up, might be a good time. Unless you want to fight him, by all means. I'm not saying Benny can't. I know Benny can beat him. I know Benny can beat him. I know Dan Hooker can beat him. I'm talking about Islam. But I also know Islam can beat them, right? It's one of those things. So it's one of these interesting matches. If you are to lose, you're much better to lose to a much bigger name where it becomes more acceptable. That's what I'm suggesting for you and nothing else. I'm not suggesting for you that Benny is scared or can't beat him. Benny's the top guy. He can handle himself. So can Dan Hooker, but so can Islam, who just became available. So the 55-pounders need to line up or bunch up. But the strategy has now changed. Unless you're awful damn sure you're not going to be the one that gets that call. So whoever makes that call, that's your audience. That's who your match is with. That's who your psychology has to be in line with and or over. The time to play is until that call comes. That call is going to somebody. I do not predict for you that they're just going to hold Islam and RDA and do it another time. The only reason I say that, I have no evidence. This is a geographical statement by me. Geographically speaking, that part of the world wants Islam on the card. That's what I'm suggesting. I believe Islam will stay intact. Question becomes, against who?